So AEW is gonna launch on TV. What, this year, next year, whatever? Assuming
September.
this September. Jesus,
Yeah.
right when SmackDown moves, right
Right
before
before
SmackDown moves to
right before
Fox.
SmackDown moves. Yep.
So
Like,
do we see this being Tuesday Night Dynamite? Do we see a reinvigoration of the Monday Night Wars, or is this going to be another failed experiment of trying to bring down Vince McMahon? Ricky, what do you think? Because you're the one who's controversial here.
I am the because I'm not an early investor in what is pretty much right now just a logo. To me, we haven't seen the match. We haven't seen them put on anything. If All In's something that we can go on, okay, they can do really well. Although All In was just ROH in disguise. For yeah, it was an ROH production.
It was ROH with lipstick on.
Exactly. that's what All In was. I've got to see what they do. If they're going, here's the thing with WWE. The thing that really separates WWE from everybody else is that their stars can only be found in WWE. When WCW was created, their stars can only be found on WCW programming for the most part. There were some random occasions where The Undertaker showed up in Japan, like out of nowhere for like shits and giggles,
or Jerry King arrested in Kuwait.
And Jerry the King Lawler showed up in ECW for a while. But for what made WWE a very exclusive thing, and I think that's what WWE brands itself off is its exclusivity, is that our stars can only be found on our programs and nowhere else. And I don't know if AEW is going to go that route.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing is something that WWE is able to do, and nobody else is able to do, is make their wrestlers feel like stars. Yes. WCW, for all the great stuff they did, their guys never felt at the level of WWE guys. They never felt it unless you were a WWE guy. You know, you had guys like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Jericho, and they were unbelievable workers, but they weren't at the level of being a star to the casual fan. WWE takes you and they put a little bit of lights and glitter on you, and there you go. Now you're a superstar. The Usos are a great example. I'm watching SmackDown right now while we're doing this.
Myself as well.
So are we.
Because it's Friday. What day is this? What day is it today?
Tuesday.
No. What day is it that the show's coming?
Friday.
Yeah. So it's Friday, so I'm a little late to watching the show. But you take the Usos out and you put them anywhere else, they're not going to feel like stars, not to the level that WWE is able to do. So they're going to, from what I understand and from what I hear, the people that are involved in this, these are some brilliant marketers. We're not talking TNA. You know, TNA,
my God.
They never, no matter how good they can be or they have been, they have never been treated as if it's a major competitor, because they got the stink on them from previous mistakes that they were never able to shake off. But in TNA, you know, AJ Styles was their man. AJ Styles was not a star on a WWE level. Well, he had to go to Japan, solidify himself, start over technically, and all of a sudden the WWE sees him, and look at him now. He's considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time at this point. Would he have had that? Would he have had that recognition by general wrestling fans if he never went to WWE? Probably not. He would have been respected by all of us, but he would have never been a guy like that. So WWE has that ability. It just matters, can AEW also reproduce that star ability?
I think they can, but the problem is who are they going to reach? Because they're going to reach the Smarks. They're going to reach the Daves of the world really easily. They're going to reach that like 1 million or 2 million really core, hardcore, smarky, marky WWE fans who love everything and watch everything, including this random Japanese company I've never heard of. But they're not going to really reach the average person who just watches Raw.
That's the trick, right? That's called P1s and P2s.
Yes.
Yeah, but also one of the things that has to be considered, there's a large, like, I'll consider myself one of the part of this group that I'm very disenfranchised with WWE right now. There's shitty booking. Raw was terrible, but I'm still a fan.
Challenge Raw was great.
I liked Raw.
Like I'm still a fan, and I'm still gonna go to events. But also in 2018, I went to my first Ring of Honor show, and then I went to Final Battle. And yes, while it wasn't at the caliber of WWE, it was an alternative. And AEW is going to be an even more feasible alternative because it's coming in right off the bat with some of these names. And mind you, Bully Club / the Elite, outside of wrestling, period, have a huge following.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, I mean, their merchandising is through the roof. So,
Fair.
so the thing is, they're already going to have that base contingent that is disenfranchised with WWE and wants something different. That's without the TV deal in place, without the full roster in place. So far, just an initial couple of people announced and 2 shows announced.
That's the easy part, but the hard part is how are you going to bring the casual fan over? How are you going to market to that casual wrestling fan that
on
only
prime
knows
time.
that only knows really about WWE? Okay, prime time could work on a
It's
Tuesday
on
night.
TNT.
It could work.
No, I'm serious. TNT is one of the biggest networks that's still actually surviving the streaming craziness we have going on here.
You know, TNT versus USA, and it's good. It may revive it, but it's not really in direct competition. Now, my thing is, it's going to be an alternative, like you said, Dave. But is it going to be an equal alternative back to the exclusivity thing? I don't think it will be initially. Maybe it'll get there.
I don't think they're going to try right off. I don't think they're shooting to compete with WWE right off the bat.
Smart move.
I don't think they should either. They should try to be that alternative. And they can be very successful doing that.
And I mean, like, for example, when I watch All In, Ricky, I watch it through your Honor Club subscription.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and when you watch your New Japan stuff, it's through my NJPW World subscription. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So and on Impact just announced that they're going to be streaming every week on Twitch. Like, I paid money for their homecoming. The majority of it was really good. The last match left a really big sour note in my, like, it seemed like a botched finish, but we don't have to grace it with much discussion. So, like, obviously there's a lot that still has to be ironed out, because mind you, the boys hit it out of the park with one show, and Ants brought it up. I know Andrew's brought it up. One show is different than booking on a weekly basis.
Correct.
Like, but in the right off the bat in this presser, like, you had Pac confront Adam Page. That's looking like it's going to be a feud. Like, you also have Chris Jericho, who theoretically can feud with anyone or faction up with anyone. Like, he had the Bucks of Jericho, or is it Y2 Jackson? So right off the bat, there's a lot that can be done. And honestly, like, Cody's been a part of the business his whole life, and he had one of the greatest as his father, my namesake, Dusty Rhodes. So I see big things from it. Do I think it's going to be right away? No. But like I said in our pre-talk, I've already booked my stay for Vegas. I'm expecting to be at Double or Nothing.
I expect you to win a ton of money to bring back to the podcast, Dave.
Yeah, right. Christ.
The money I bring back from Vegas, maybe a percentage of that will go. But
we'll take 10%.
I'll take
Thank
it.
you.